humans shooting at soups. I don't want to see it anymore. We need to wrap it up. This should be the last time I see Huey, or any other human shooting at soups, because it's not worked since season 1 to this season 5 that we are in. No soup has died from any gun wound. So why are we still wasting bullets and just making noise in the episode? Don't do it again. It pisses me off when I see them shooting, because it's like, it didn't work. It doesn't work. It's never worked. So why are you still doing it? Do you understand? Yeah. I really don't know how to talk to the camera. I don't know how you guys.
They talk about, unfortunately, when you're a man, you are the provider. You are the one that takes care of your family. You know, you are the example for your kids when they grow up, and your sons, you know, and your daughters. And you, unfortunately, you can't be that guy. I see these guys posting on social media. Oh, I had a bad day and I'm so sad, and all this other crazy shit.
So unattractive.
It's unattractive to other males, let alone women. I can't even imagine. Yeah, I'm really against all that shit. I hate.
Awful. And if you as a man are doing these behaviors and you don't think that you should maybe ask or just not do them in the bedroom, or you think that this is something enjoyable to ask yourself, where did you get these ideas from?
I think it's deeper than that. Why do you like it?
Well, I talk in Sex Sanction about how, you know, for people who genuinely do enjoy being abused during sex or abusing their partner, usually that stems from some form of abuse in childhood. It's unresolved trauma that they're living through or going back to because they're trying to either make sense of what happened or to feel like this terrible thing that happened to them was not so bad. But in terms of, say, choking, I mean, it is potentially fatal. And people like it because when you cut off the airflow to the brain, you get a high, right? Because your brain cells dying. That's what it is. And even if you don't pass out necessarily, like that's not good for your brain. There are actually studies showing that choking during sex can lead to inflammation of the brain, which is associated with mental health issues down the road. And just to give your audience an idea of how common this is. So among female university students, half of them have had an experience of being choked during sex. A third of them were choked the last time they had sex. And a third of them have been choked more than 5 times during sex, versus that's only 7% of university men. Some things I hear from women who say like,
Okay, y'all can hear me now though, yeah? But can you hear the screen? No, I've been working on my ventriloquism. Let me see if I can get this shit to run. Okay, bet. The first thing I was saying, whether or not we could get is it Ira Star? Whether or not we could get her on the pod. That was the first thing because she was talking about the boys, and then the second thing was, um, can we? Was this woman talking about the commonness of choking and how sort of normalized it is, which is like and normalized not as a kink but as like a thing that it's sort of like a natural progression. Like, oh, I've kissed your left cheek, so I probably don't need to check in before kissing your right cheek. Which I think is a pretty common way that we tend to think about like sex and intimacy. You know, I held your hand. It might be okay for me to progress from this to this without an additional like, hey, are you into interlocked fingers during holding hands? Um, Whereas something like choking is essentially a kink, so it's like you want to have a conversation on that. And yeah, it is super normalized to where you're like, oh, I think that this is you think, oh, this is kind of like because even spanking the same. It's like people go like, oh, cool, back shots, and you just go, oh, okay, let me, it's like, oh, maybe that's a conversation. Because I remember this scene in Euphoria where the Sydney Sweeney's character was dating the other dude, the black dude, not Jacob Elordi's character, and he would like started doing some rough stuff during sections. He stopped and he was like, "Oh, I thought that that's what you wanted to do. I thought and that's a common thing that comes up. Somebody else was talking about it on a podcast where it was like there's this sense of like as a guy, you can't ask. And don't get me wrong, some people internalize it to where even if a woman is telling you like, "Hey, nah, my clit is that's to the left," they don't want to hear that. But for a lot of guys, it's just like you're supposed to know, so you're just supposed to do stuff. And if you have to ask, like, "Oh, what are you into?" Da, 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 then you're inexperienced, and that's embarrassing and emasculine. And it would be dishonest to say that that isn't true. Yeah, yeah, you should ask because it's normalized. Is what I'd say. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the boys so I can do a little watch inside Discord. Let me see if I can get that to work. Yeah, okay. Download speed is going okay. All right. Let's see what we've got. Voice channels, general. Share your screen. Yeah, cool. All right. All right. Can y'all see me in the Discord? Whoever's in there, because I'm gonna watch the boys while we're on here. If it works, this is my second attempt at trying this. What did Diplo do? Oh, is it this? Voting Rights Act discussion today. Yeah, because I heard about this or like yeah witnessed it, heard about whatever. Maybe like I guess 2 weeks ago was it or a week ago, and It's not surprising to me. So my understanding of it is, and please add some addendums to I've got, is that essentially the Voting Rights Act that allowed us to draw the lines around like voting districts that allowed us to make sure that black votes weren't discriminated against by being broken up has been rolled back. And a whole bunch of the like, I don't know if it's poll taxes, but like the ID shit that also made it harder for people to vote. All of the protections against that shit has, my understanding, just been fucking rolled back, which means that now Republicans have that tool in their tool chest to just roll voting access back to the levels that it was pre-civil rights, and it was incredibly low pre-civil rights. Like it was like some sub 20% or some crazy shit like that I was hearing of us voting, maybe even less than that. And I was listening to, I think, New York Times, and they were like, the Democrats can also use this, but they were talking about, I think maybe it was like Louisiana, that like already one of the black districts, like voting blocks, has basically just been disbanded. So yeah, essentially fucked. And this is before the next midterm election, which means that that'll have more impact on that, which I think we might do that during the live. Like we might go into this further during the live when I've got Alvin here, because I'll know he'll be like on top of that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. What do y'all think? Matter of fact, let me add that to the topic list for live stream. Okay. Oh wait, I don't even know if Warm Summer Night can hear me. Warm Summer Night, are you in the chat? And yeah, to simply cursive in the main live. Uh yeah, it doesn't seem like it's being touched on. And I remember listening to it being covered and just thinking like this is the like, Eddie the sky is falling type shit that I hear about. So I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yo, shout out Stingerpool. Yeah, I had a great time talking to Ben and Dr. Dre on For All Nerds. Y'all should definitely go check that out. I think yeah, has it already been posted or did you just see the live stream? Yeah, the David Frank shit. For David French shit, I saw that. I didn't know who the fuck David French was. So I didn't even know why they showed his name. Um, sorry, Yamato, if you can see it. No, it's not playing. I currently have it paused because I'm talking to the other chat. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this because usually when I watch shows, I pause them a bunch while I'm going through it. I don't. What's the norm with this? Also, can you hear me on Discord? And thank you everybody for as I figure out how the fuck we're gonna do this in the future. Is my mic on? Hold on. Let me input system. Oh wait, hold on. Let me switch to this one. Okay. All right, y'all should be able to hear me better on Discord now. Blah. What was I gonna say? Okay. Yo, Stingerbook, you're in the Discord, yeah? Can you send me a link to the episode so I can post it in here for people to watch? With the David French shit, that's just like, yeah, a lot of like that's not even a conservative thing. Like plenty of white people actually probably everybody for whatever they're given intersectionality, privilege out of that thing, but specifically white people don't. Yeah, they're in a bubble and don't bother to believe anybody until they experience it like directly with someone that they have a direct interpersonal relationship with. But yeah, the whole like believe women, believe black people, any of that stuff is. I mean, like, when like Chappelle had a bit about this from like 20 years ago, where it's like after the Rodney King shit, it's like all of a sudden black people are like, apparently, the police have been beating black people like flapjacks. Who would have thunk it? Meanwhile, of course, everybody black has known this for since the beginning of time. So yeah, that's not surprising. I don't know that there's, I mean, I don't know if there's a full video essay worth on it. It's like, yeah, that's not surprising, but it is shocking. Honestly, it's slightly refreshing because I feel like a lot of white parents they ignore it even more than what he did. Like they continue to ignore it even when their adopted child is the victim of these things. That said, I also think that is some child abuse shit when you have these sort of like intra or interracial adoptions without any kind of like cultural training. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna put that level of negative energy on it, but it's just why, yeah. If you're not gonna put the effort into taking care of the real experience that your child is going to have being raised by you, then it's a problem. You're not in the Discord. What's going on? Why is that? Are we talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant not being a doctor? Yeah, yeah. All right, let me watch this goddamn show. Oh wait, fuck, where did I put it? My fault, y'all. Share screen. Yeah, cool. Now, how do I do the double shit? How do I do that one? There we go. Okay. Yeah, amazing. I wonder if they're asking him to like, Jewish it up. Yo, thanks for coming through Simply Cursive. I understand. We got to avoid those spoilers. What are they trying to give him? Yo, what are they testing? Yo, hold on. Hold on. They doing pipeline bits? How are they? Ah, okay, she's trying. I see. Oh, Homelander, that's interesting. Oh no, she's going to become a true believer. He's validated her. Buffering. Damn, sorry, y'all. My shit is freezing. But I feel like we got farther than last time. That's a good. Yeah, that's a good sign. And it's just me and Yamato. Which, thank you, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna pause this shit. All right, I'll come back to it. But that's all right. All right, we got something. We got something. Let me see. Here we go. What else do we need to cover for the week? I mean, this is probably gonna be a short one. What I've got right now is Keegan Michael Key. Sorry, let me leave this channel. Hang up on this one. Fine. Sorry, I was distracted by the Discord. What was I saying? Yeah. So topics, we got the live stream talking about like the Voting Rights Act essentially being rolled back or gutted out. Keegan-Michael Key is allegedly in an abusive relationship. His partner is controlling of him, and has sort of like triangulated and fucked him up career wise. Got Akash quitting Flagrant, kind of on the back of all of the other shit. You know, their official stance is that he's just too busy with stand up. Maybe. Penn Badgley says that casual sex is a myth. Stephen Bartlett says that relationships can't be maximally serious without marriage. And Isaiah Rashad talks about the challenges of being a bisexual black man. I mean, which one would be? You know what? Actually, I think that's an interesting point, but I think I'm not going to address that one or bring up that point if we discuss it, because I think it probably undercuts the point of the thing that we talk about all the time, which is taking victims seriously. So we're just going to do a straight shoot. Like, what are the allegations? What needs to be done to help Keegan in this situation? But basically, somebody was saying that a lot, like the Get Out, with like Jordan Peele basically made Get Out about Keegan, and Chelsea, Jordan Peele's partner, she like called this woman who was working with Key and Peele on a thing and like warned her about Keegan's like wife. So yeah. Let me get rid of this one. All right, cool. Yeah, I think somebody covered it. I think somebody did like a little video essay breakdown. I think it was like Plantain King or something like that was who I watched. Let me see if I can find the video. Fried plantain. Fried plantain. I guess it depends. Yeah. Akash stepping away because the internet bullied him about the wife stuff, which is kind of weird because I feel like they should have been bullying him about a million other fucking things. I think, yeah, Penn Badgley's point about casual sex being a myth and that it's actually not even as casual as men pretend it is, I think I completely agree. Like, people do it, but it's actually not that casual. I think that's probably pretty accurate. Though I think that there's maybe like levels. Like, I get what he's getting at, but I feel like there's probably levels, because I feel like I've like, you know, had relationships where I'm like, yeah, I enjoy hanging out with you and fucking you every so often, and we're enjoying what this is, but I don't want to like get a bank account together with you. You know what I mean? But I also wouldn't say that we're necessarily like deep friends, but we're somewhere in between that, you know? When you say Diggs trial, do you mean, are you talking Diggs? Who's Diggs trial? Oh, wait, Diggs trial. Shit. Not Tate. Oh, who's? Oh, Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, yeah. Yep. Okay, true. What was? True. Yeah. Apologies. Sorry, y'all know I don't keep up on some of that stuff. What did he do? Because I'm pretty sure we talked about it, but like maybe ages back. Oh, he was found not guilty. NFL star Stephon Diggs, oh shit, sorry, found not guilty of assaulting his live-in chef. A Massachusetts jury acquitted the former New England Patriot wide receiver on a felony charge of strangulation and a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery. Yeah. So what was the case? What was the evidence? And so was it he was proven not guilty, or they just couldn't prove that he did do it, kind of a situation, or yeah. Apparently it was a chef, but they said live-in chef. All right, anyway, I'm about to head. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Stinker Poo. Eulogize. What, is Ted Turner dead? Were you Reformed? Are you talking about the same one by Fried Plantain, by the way? Yeah, I thought it was gonna be because the thumbnail looks kind of like low quality, so I was like, "Oh, this is just some made up shit." But then, yeah, watched it through, and it's from you. Have you seen the stand up clip of the woman talking about it? Like the woman who was like, "Hey, I worked with them, and this is the situation." Interesting. She basically didn't have any evidence, and they had a bunch of evidence. So, what was their evidence to the contrary? Let me see what Oeasy did. Oh, matter of fact, can I watch somebody's YouTube video while I'm on here? Let me see.
Does anybody remember Key and Peele? You know, Key and Peele, the sketch comedy show, had these two guys, this very, very bald, actually famously bald, abnormally bald, light-skinned man, and then Jordan Peele, who looks like he's really good at playing Smash Brothers. These two guys, look at his lips. Big, delicious, beautiful. Sorry, look at those lips. So I don't know why I keep talking about his lips. They're just good lips. Look. God, those are good lips. Anyways, they stopped at about season 4 of Key and Peele, and it was an outstanding show. It was insanely good. As a matter of fact, there were so many amazing moments in Key and Peele. Wait, stop, my compatriot. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Just put any comment you want to. Don't forget to like the video. That helps out, and definitely don't forget to subscribe because, man, I'm trying to get to 500K by the end of the year, and that'd be fantastic. Anyways, back to the video. There was the iconic character of Megan. Megan! Oh, stop moving. Megan, what are you doing? No, another no. And it was beautiful. Love that. Just a snarky girlfriend that naturally was a little bit annoying, and I love that character a lot. I just want to point something out, by the way, about specifically the character Megan. But outside of that, there was also the character of the substitute teacher who would say Aaron and Balake using inner city black dialect, thinking that he was teaching a bunch of black students, or more so ghetto students, by saying a different inflection on their names. And that's the entire joke. And then there was the high on pot noose jokes. And I believe there was a joke where a guy had lightning in a bottle. And every single time, I'd watch one of these skits, I'd feel encapsulated by the beauty of what the skits were, because it wasn't as if the skits were supposed to be funny. They were playing real characters reacting to real things, and I think that's what made Key and Peele so special to me, is that the characters felt as if they weren't playing a character, they were playing themselves, and we were reacting to how hilarious the character actually was. And that's the beauty of Key and Peele for me. It was outstanding, and it was such a shame when those shows went away. Well, the Chappelle Show was good in its own right, but those who were playing characters, obviously, Key and Peele specifically was different in its own unique way, to me personally. And every time I thought I had seen every single skit, a new one would pop up out of nowhere. It's as if they were still making them in a hidden factory, trying to make sure I didn't.
Yeah, let me fucking skip to this motherfucker. Yeah, okay, so the drama that you came for. There we go. Because with the like, if she was a bad witness and was seen celebrating and was seen not having injuries, it doesn't take much. Like, if getting slapped in your face is not necessarily going to show up the next day. Like, it's still assault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody punches you in your chest as hard as fuck, like, you're not necessarily going to have a bruise there. But how did he get prosecuted in the first place? Like, how did this go to trial? That would be the thing that I'd be curious of. Not that, because obviously shit goes to trial all the time off of bullshit and people get found innocent and it was somebody else, or get found not guilty. But I'm just curious about that. And I'm not one of these, 100% of people who were accused did it people, but yeah, I think that's the thing. They're just difficult to prove. But we also know that they happen a lot. But also, this isn't even like domestic violence. This is like assaulting his staff. Interesting. Okay. He filed charges and that turned into a complaint. That's so interesting that even, because doesn't the prosecutor's office have to go, yeah, we think that there's evidence enough here for this to be a trial? Like he was arrested and shit. Like, I don't know. I'm watching too much TV, so I don't know. All right, let's see.
That's not what happened. We have some juicy new drama that came out about Keegan-Michael Key's wife. And this comes from a comedian. This is comedian Akilah Hughes on why Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele don't collaborate anymore. Remember, allegedly. So in this clip, I'm not going to show the clip because I don't know how she feels about copyright. I don't know if she's going to strike me down. I have no idea what she's going to do. I don't know the woman, and I refuse to risk that on a video that I worked on.
What is the deal with our faux moi? Because I feel like I come across that subreddit a lot, and I still don't understand what the fuck it is.
I refuse to do that. So I'm literally just going to describe the video to you, and I'm going to link it in the top comment so you can go ahead and check for yourself about what she says. She uses code names to explain that she could have had an opportunity at a Disney show but didn't get that opportunity because of Keegan-Michael Key's wife. She uses code names such as Teal and Locke in order to not get sued, so that's the whole thing there. So that's what's happening. And Reddit is going crazy about it. Even somebody did the best thing ever. They asked for a Cliff Notes version of the 12-minute video. Oh, I love this. After a long battle, she finally got a TV offer on a TV show that she had pitched from Disney. She originally paired up with Key to attach a celebrity to the project. Everyone loved him working on the project. Key has an overbearing wife. The wife joined the Zoom call with the production and gave her talks on what the show should incorporate. The wife suggested comedy comes in threes, the letter K is funny, and give the audience candy. Just a bunch of odd nonsense to say that because she wants creative direction. After nobody took her seriously, she sued Disney over the production. The lawsuit took months to finally settle.
No, that's fucking
okay,
crazy.
we paid them off, create something new for us, not attach with them. During the time, Igor canceled all developments and projects.
Her being a chef and that.
And she is a really good storyteller. There's a music company in the background, and I recommend watching the video if you haven't seen it. It's really good. Remember, it's linked in the top comment, so I'm giving credit where credit is due. And so basically, it's a known secret in Hollywood that Key's wife is kind of crazy, so much that it's preventing him from actually landing completing projects. She rails with him. The comic was supposed to write a show with Key, but Disney pulled out basically their wife's crazy antics demands. It's worth listening to. That's the whole thing. So people just know that. That's what's going on there. People have been theorizing. It's get out about Keegan-Michael Key. If you don't know the plot to get out, it's a black man, he's a white woman, and then he's stuck in the sunken place. That's the whole thing there. And I want to point this out. That's why you get to look at my eyes right now. I don't know who Keegan-Michael Key's wife is. As a matter of fact, I had no idea who she was. But if you were guessing she was a white woman, I'm going to show you what she looks like. So this is Keegan-Michael Key's wife. What are the odds? You probably wouldn't have guessed that she looked like this. It caught me a little bit off guard when I saw her. Didn't really know she was going to look like this. Now, she's a film producer. I didn't know this. And they have the same kind of humor. Now, these are the movies she's worked on. Boy Meets World, American Teen, The Cake Eaters, School of Rock, Montana, August, Blackout, Madero, The American Journey, The Dream Defenders, and Better Off Single. I've only seen one of these things. I've literally only ever seen one of these things. I don't know much about her. I've only seen School of Rock.
School of Rock is
I don't know
probably
much
the only one
about her work. I don't know what's going on. And this makes it very interesting to me. I kind of don't care about her. To be quite honest with you, I don't know this person. And you would assume I'm a regular average idiot, right? I'm a regular stupid idiot. Why in God's name would someone like me care about Keegan-Michael Key's wife? I came for Keegan-Michael Key. I didn't come for your relationship. I came for you. And that's the exact complaint people had when she appeared on a podcast interview a few years back. So this is the Fly on the Wall podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade. This is a very interesting podcast. Don't really know much about it, but I did proceed to watch this podcast in totality. So I don't know why both of these people are on here. Now, there's three legends here and then her. And it feels so wildly misogynistic for me to say that, but that's kind of the entire point. Why is she here? Is there a reason that she exists in this space? I have no idea. Now, thankfully, somebody highlighted a specific moment at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 18 seconds, but I can't show because I just got copyright claim twice trying to show this clip, and I refuse to edit it out again because it actually messed me up. This is my fourth time recording video. She is talking over Keegan-Michael Key the entire way through and explaining that, she's the creative voice and she's the reason that they share the same comedy style. It's very interesting to see. It's very interesting. And then people are commenting, talking about how she's such a narcissist. This lady left to hear so dark. I miss Phil Hartman. And this is insane because Phil Hartman lost his life to his wife. People are saying he's in the Phil Hartman era. People are theorizing that his wife is wildly abusive and nobody wants to work with his wife. And the reason, and this is the main point of the video, by the way, the reason Key and Peele failed was because his wife tried to be there around the production set and they couldn't continue. And the fact of the matter that the reason why Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele don't talk to each other is because his wife wants to be there around all the time. And Jordan Peele doesn't want that because his wife is overbearing. And people keep talking about how nobody likes his wife. Now then, this isn't the first time this popped up, not because of this recent thing, but this happened 3 years ago. 3 years ago on the Fly on the Wall podcast, Keegan-Michael Key and Akilah Key episode. Anyone else find it unlistenable? He is likable and interesting, and I'd like to have heard more from him. But Ellie seemed to have a really hard time letting anyone else talk. And then when David kind of accurately asked why she didn't reach out to interview him for the history of comedy skits, she seemed to shrug it off. Who is this chick? Yeah, if I see that Keegan-Michael Key's in an interview, I'm gonna watch it for Keegan-Michael Key, not for I don't know who this person is. This is gonna suck. I really don't want to seem hateful towards this person. Everything I'm seeing, however, seems to lead me to the point that she may not be the most likable person. She may be evil. She may be messed up. She just may be a leech in some way. A leech, one might say. And people are saying came here to see if anyone else but me thought the same thing. She was insufferable. In all fairness, I don't know much about her, but I definitely know she should be steamrolling an interview with 3 legends. That's true. I really like Keegan, and I think the relationship probably works best when she's behind the scenes. Now that she's become his partner in life and business, I think she feels emboldened. She really should just let him have his interview alone. He would promote the book and get to actually talk about the relevant stuff to the podcast hosting like SNL and working with Sicily. So this whole thing, dude, just listen to that little Keegan got to actually talk. She was the worst. She was like the worst stage mothers who dragged their kids to every audition over talking proudly prospective directors and producers to ensure their child gets the lead role and backhand percentage of gross ticket sales. So even just this little hour snippet shows kind of how her personality is, and that's not healthy. So now there's a bunch of articles talking about how people don't like Keegan-Michael Key's wife and how she's the reason that Jordan Peele and him are no longer associated in business ways and how he's estranged from all of his friends and families because of the wife and how much they argue and all this other stuff. It's a whole thing going on. It's a big mess. Someone liked Keegan-Michael Key's wife, allegedly. It's important. It's all alleged. Now, it's a couple of days old now, but there's a video going around now from comedian Achilles Hughes titled Explain the Gap in My Resume, which he performed at a Brooklyn storytelling show. It's long, trust me, it's worth it. Also linked in the top comment, just want to point that out. Hughes doesn't use real names for legal reasons. She refers to the people in the story by code names, but it's obvious she's talking about Keegan-Michael Key, Jordan Peele, and Disney. The short version is this. Hughes about the sketch show. We already talked about this. We already know what's going on there. According to Hughes, the creative contributions to the project from Ayla Key followed Comedy in Threes, later. Everybody's talking about this right now. Everybody knows about this. So there's a bunch of articles talking about this, and the whole video is worth watching. And so this is what's going on right now. And there are a bunch of people on TikTok talking about this too.
The horrific reason why Key and Peele hate each other and would never work together again finally got revealed today.
Before I get into my very speculative rant here, I do want to point out the actual reason that Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele said. I want to talk about that first because I want to get the facts out first. It's a little boring article here. It says Keegan-Michael Key says he and he and Jordan Peele don't see each other often anymore. It's a tragedy. Exclusive. When we were on camera, it was alchemy. Keegan-Michael Key recalls his fellow Key and Peele creator. When Keegan-Michael Key first met Jordan Peele, he says it was a thrilling time in my life. Years before the comedy duo would launch their 2012 to 2015 sketch comedy series that name, the two were sharing a mind, starring on Fox's Mad TV, starting in 2004. Key 53 tells people in this week's issue, we lived together for a few months on a write and talk about comedy, who we liked and why we liked them, and how that worked in the architecture of what we were trying to build comedically, he says. Because they had both previously trained at Chicago's Second City and shared a creative language as Key, when we were on camera, it was alchemy. It was like, why is this working? Unfortunately, in the near decade since the Emmy-winning Key and Peele concluded on Comedy Central, we don't see each other that often anymore. He says of Peele, 45 years old, which is to me a tragedy. This is them right here. This is them in 2002. They look very jovial together. This is very recent. It's 4 years ago. So they've seen each other in recent years. I just want to point that out. After taking the comedy world by storm with their hit series, Key and Peele have created chances to experience that alchemy again, producing and starring in 2016 film Keanu, appearing together in the first season of Atticus Fargo, and voicing paired together in 2019's Toy Story 4. So they have done projects together, just none led by Jordan Peele. I want to talk that out. And in 2022's Wendell and Wild. So they have been in voice acting roles together. So a lot of people think that, oh, they split together and never going to do anything. But recently, 4 years ago, they've been in a film together. And that's the whole thing. But as Key notes, your lives start to evolve and move in different directions. Peele and wife Chelsea Peretti live in Los Angeles. Joaquin and his wife are in New York City, he adds. Our evolution, I think, is tied to both of what our desires are. Continues, the Transformers one star, his desire was to start exploring the horror genre, and my desire was to do more dramatic work like I have been trained in school. After Key and Peele's success, both of us jumped to another platform, but we needed that platform. And this is them and Key and Peele right here. In fact, fans can divine the two comedians' future by watching their trajectory on the sketch series, says Key. I was playing the clown more and doing more physical comedy in the beginning in our time together. Then I found myself evolving into playing more of the straight roles and teeing up Jordan to play the clown. Season 1 of Key and Peele features not a lot of improvising, he recalls. It wasn't until the third season, that we loosen up and improvise. And we write some sketches that were just very strange and weird, and that was a fun part of the evolution. So that's the whole thing there. That's the boring part of this entire thing. This is the actual thing. However, I want to point something out. That could all be corporate hearsay, and usually we hear about things after a relationship is over, and he's been married since 2018, and this interview was in 2024. So we may hear about the juice a bit later. To me, this entire situation, it feels as though people found a tiny little crack, a little infinitesimal crack in the wall, and decided, well, there must be a monster living inside the crack. Wait, they really stopped talking to each other. What's going on? And it's just scratching to get out. It's breathing through drywall, whispering secrets. Only Reddit detectives get here at 3 a.m. all hocked up on monster, all having a Red Bull inside of the body. Red Bull, Reddit, I'm going to get in your wings. I'm going to fly to the beginning of this whole thing, zooming in on interviews frame by frame. Look at the follicles on his foreskin. I know he's doing something bad. Everybody's doing all this conspiracy documentary narrated by their deep.
I will say one thing that, sorry, I guess I'm no longer watching boys on the Discord, so let me fucking move that. But I do think when I heard when I was listening to her stand-up thing, she says that Chelsea Peretti told her on the phone and got her number somehow and called her up, which is like to call a stranger who's just like signed on to the show that your husband is like co-producing and be like, hey, I need to talk to you, is like kind of some serious shit sometimes, you know? And she says to, was it Akila? She says, hey, I just want to warn you because I wish somebody had warned me, which that's some pretty dark shit to say, you know? So I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna head off. Peace to y'all. Talk to you soon. Have a good one. Be blessed. Stay black. Peace, everybody. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. All right.
It's a red flag.